we figured out how to upload our stuff.
Oh yeah,
Save
to
it.
get that transferred over to the tubes,
Yep.
the Unimus
Got it on the
tubimus.
YouTube page.
Yeah. Well, here we are. This is Swat Podcast, April 7th, 2018.
April 7th.
It might be
Masters.
easier to just date the episodes than to try and like keep a number on them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, especially since we had this debacle. We're like, well, how many episodes did we do? I mean, who knows, man? I don't know.
I think I did that on the YouTube entry.
You just put the date?
I think so.
That's smart.
I can't remember, but
That's
I think
smart.
I did that.
Well, we should start doing that if we haven't.
That was already a week ago, so
Yeah, it
I've
was.
forgotten everything I've done in the last week.
Dude, I have so slept since then.
I've slept a lot of time since then.
Yeah. Speaking of people who have definitely slept, or maybe not slept, you think Sergio Garcia's gotten any sleep?
He probably slept better the second night than he did the first night. He probably had nightmares of the 15th hole.
Dude, I gotta tell you, he was quoted by saying he shot 8 over. He shot a 13 on the par 5. Is it the 15th hole?
Right.
And he was saying it's the first 13 he shot in his life where he didn't take a single bad swing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw every shot, and they both landed.
He took
all of them landed at the hole.
So he tried to carry the water with a 6-iron, and he just didn't get it far enough on the green, and it trailed back off into the water. So then he went to the drop zone, where he put 4 straight swings into the water?
Yeah, 4 more, a total of 5.
Yeah,
in the water,
and each one of them landed like within 10 feet of the hole. With the exception of the last one, he tried to make an adjustment, but he kicked like off of a hill, like on the fringe. And it shot him right back into the same funnel that he kept hitting in.
I think after 2 of them, I would have just hit it so far past the hole, like whatever.
I have a standard in my head for like when I play golf, and it's like if I can throw a better golf shot than I hit, I'm disappointed. And like that drop zone is like a 65 yard. Like that's not too long of a throw. It's like I'm thinking I could just like chuck it up there on the green, you know. And end up okay, because then at least it wouldn't have as much backspin when it hits.
Because that was what was killing him.
Yeah,
was the backspin, and then once it got any momentum at all, it just
ran off the green.
It took that grade and just found water every time. So,
yeah,
I guess we're gonna have a new champion this year.
I guess so. Here, let me go ahead and share my screen here. I've got the PGA. I've got the leaderboard of the Masters all up and ready for us here.
Uh-oh.
This is from CBSSports.com.
Is this like just now? I didn't see this a second ago. Rory is now tied for the lead.
Tied for the lead?
Tied for the lead.
Are you sure?
I have him tied for the lead.
With 9 under.
At 9 under.
So he must have just gotten an eagle and hasn't updated yet on CBS Sports.
I think this is pretty much
like live.
Yeah, like I've seen names dropping and rising.
Yeah. Well, so it looks like the big movers today. I'm not even sure what this guy's first name is. Fitzpatrick down here at 5 under.
Ryan?
M.
Is it Ryan Fitzpatrick?
M. It's not. It is not Fitzmagic.
Oh.
M. Fitzpatrick down here. He was
what is
plus
he?
5 the first 2 days combined. He was 5 under today.
Oh.
So
it's Matthew, by the way.
Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. This ESPN has first names.
Yeah. Well, CBS needs to. Spieth so far today is even par. Tiger shot today even par, so he's still 4 over. So he's.
But there are huge scores out there.
But oh yeah, there are some low scores being shot today. Tommy Fleetwood shot 72-72. You know, even par the first 2 days. He is already 5 under through 14. John Ram,
Tommy Fleetwood Mac,
5 under through 12. Ricky Fowler 5 under through 10. And you said that McIlroy is 5 under. Maybe if I refresh this website, it might pop up for me. No, they still don't have it here.
What do they have him at?
They have him at 3 under, 7 under for the tournament.
So they don't have it even updated by hole. They just have it updated by the day.
He's through the 7th.
At 3 under?
At 3 under.
For the day?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So maybe he eagled.
He's 7 under par for the tournament.
Okay, and on there it says through 7.
Yeah.
Okay, on here it says through 8. So is the 8th hole a par 5?
I don't know. That's what I did like about the Masters page is that it had like the scorecard.
The 8th hole was a par 5.
So he eagled the 8th hole
eagled it
to get into a tie with Patrick Reed. And if I'm not mistaken, McIlroy and Reed, they're basically playing the same hole the whole time, but Reed is in the group behind.
Right.
And so Reed's watching this in front of him.
Yeah, they're the last two
so
groups,
the pressure is on Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. The pressure is already on because these guys are duking it out because Reed is watching what McIlroy is doing ahead of him.
Right.
And then McIlroy is hearing what Reed's doing behind him. And so...
And on top of that, it's not like they're the only two in the running.
That's true. But Leishman is +1 so far today.
Yeah, and he's still very much in this, and he's in the last group.
Yeah, I will say, though, right now they are the two focal points because McIlroy, like, they're running, like, they're the two that are posting the low scores that are right next to each other. Whereas, like, Fowler, he's also in there, but he's 3 holes ahead. So he has less of a pulse of what these two are doing back and forth back here. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I was watching the tournament yesterday, and they were saying that nobody in the history of the tournament has posted all 4 rounds in the 60s. It hasn't happened.
That's crazy.
And so Patrick Reed at 69-66.
Although
I'm gonna refresh this again. I want to see McIlroy climb that leaderboard. They still haven't posted it, man.
They're behind.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Reed's on pace to shoot 72 today.
That's it. I'm going back to the Masters page. I'm going back to...
Go to the ESPN one.
Nope. I'm going to Masters.com.
They even have first names.
Yep. Here it is. Yeah, it shows McIlroy in the lead. Yep. With that eagle on the par 5 8th hole.
Wow.
I mean, so to be expected that Patrick Reed will also go under par on that hole. So
yeah.
So he'll probably have a 1-stroke lead again. But yeah, man, Tommy Fleetwood, 5 under on the day. Big mover John Ram, 5 under on the day. Fowler's 5 under on the day. McIlroy's 5 under on the day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there are some scores being shot. It is
I'm just looking at the leaderboard and stuff's moving. Everybody tied for 11th and above are the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Like, they came out to play, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to rule out any of them yet.
Nope.
Because when the pressure's on, some of them will thrive, like Spieth, not having a good day. He's now 1 over on the day. I think he just bogeyed 9. So he's 3 under for the tournament, but then you got Justin Rose 3 under, Bubba Watson 3 under, Louis Oosthuizen, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, my boy Tommy Fleetwood Mac, Mark Leishman, Henrik Stenson, and then, of course, the top guys.
John Ram, Ricky Fowler, Patrick Reed, Rory McIlroy.
It's unbelievable.
It's a stacked leaderboard, man.
It's unbelievable. Tomorrow's going to be fun. This afternoon's going to be fun. Everybody's just... They're confident.
Yeah.
And the scores are huge today. It's either like they're huge or they're not. I'm like, well, how are some of these guys 5 under and then others are just like 1 under?
Well, I'm impressed that like McIlroy, Fowler, Ram, like they were 5 under on the front 9. Like usually it's the back 9 is where you can start making moves. Like 13, 14, 15 with the par 5, par 4, par 5. That's usually where you see people go one way or the other.
Maybe the hole placement today is a lot more favorable.
Maybe. I know that number 16, the hole placement was really favorable on Thursday, that short par 3, because they put it down at the bottom of the funnel. And so, like, you could just aim at the middle of the green, and as long as your distance was good, the ball would basically, like, kind of ride down to be right in line with the hole, depending on your distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had a relatively simple putt for a tournament of this caliber with the greens of this undulation. But yeah, well, it's like but on the flip side though, number 15 was brutal because it was right at the edge of that false front,
right,
which runs into the water, and we saw that eat Sergio alive. So, but yeah, I mean, Justin Thomas and Dustin Johnson, both of these guys making moves to get 5 under. Louis Oosthuizen, past champion. He looks like he bogeyed number 1 and then played the rest of the front 9 3 under. You know, everybody in red numbers right now has a shot at this tournament. It's It's crazy, man.
I just looked at Spieth's scorecard today.
Yeah.
He has parred both par 5s, which is not what you want.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so Patrick Reed just birdied number 8 to reclaim the lead.
Yep.
But man,
can we call him Patty Ice?
Patty Ice. 4 scores just updated. Fleetwood birdie at number 15 to go to 6 under. 6 under with 3 to play.
My boy Tommy, I was joking on Thursday that he was going to win the tournament because he was playing with Tiger.
Man, he was even par at the start of the day.
He's caught up to Leishman. They were in the same group.
He is even par at the start of the day. He was even par, and right now, as it sits, he is tied for 4th place.
Yep, with Leishman, his playing partner from the first 2 days.
Yeah,
they might be playing again tomorrow.
Man, well, so he birdied the par 5 second, and then he birdied the par 4 ninth, and then he went birdie, 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 birdie. His last 4 holes.
He's feeling it.
12, 13, 14, 15. I'm telling you, man, that's where people are going to make moves.
I think he got tired of shooting 72.
I mean, I guess he could still shoot 72, but that would be bad.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Well, it was just like when Tiger birdied, what was that, 15 to get to 3 over yesterday. That was a huge birdie. Because you're literally telling yourself, you're like, okay, like he basically, like, he can't miss the cut now.
Right.
Unless he just completely implodes. And you're like, you know what, dude? Making the cut at the Masters, and he's never missed the cut at the Masters. Right. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he was still 2 shots. He had a little bit of room, so.
Yeah. Man, Tommy Fleetwood, biggest mover of the day, 6 under.
Is that the best round? Out of anybody?
I believe he is the most under par of anybody that has played today.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to think, because Matthew Fitzpatrick also was a huge mover today, but he started the day 5 over, finished even par. I think he's the other big mover of the day was Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 unders.
Yeah, it looks like Tony Finau's ankle's finally catching up to him.
Yeah, he was killing it at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, he had so much adrenaline, you just kind of numb to the injury. Bernhard Langer, dude. And Fred Couples, both of them 3 over. What if they're in the same group? Tiger Woods finishing the day even par. Once again, he started off slow. He started off bogey. And then he played the rest of the round 1 under, or 2 under, sorry.
And the final pairings tomorrow are going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Because right now, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
In the final 3-4 groups.
Well, you see Tommy Fleetwood make a move like he's making on the back 9 here. And if he's the only one that capitalizes on that, then he is in title contention. Just like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody is, because you just never know when something like Sergio on Thursday or Jordan a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That one hole just eats you up,
one hole.
and then it kills you, and you can't rebound.
Well, and we were even commenting when that happened to Sergio. Like, it was basically like the second ball that he put in the water. It's like he just lost the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he just lost the tournament in 3 minutes.
Yep.
And then he put 2 more in the water.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, at that point, he's just like, he's trying to stick it as close as he can to, he's trying to hold that out at that point. Because he tried to carry it with his second shot.
Yep.
And then his 4th shot goes in the drink. So he's hitting his 6th shot. He's trying to hold that out for a bogey. And it goes back in the drink. Man.
Tommy Fleetwood's moved up 14 spots today.
Dude. Tommy Fleetwood.
14 spots.
McIlroy just parred number 9, par 4. So he has posted an outscore of 31. 31 for McIlroy on the out. It's the same as Fowler. Man, if Fowler and McIlroy can have runs, Fowler's currently playing number 12.
Dude, I want Ricky to win so bad.
Ricky?
He's one of the best golfers to not have won a major.
Well, we were saying that about Sergio last year.
I know. Ricky is due, man. Like, I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. He finished top 5 in like every major or top 10.
But he didn't win any of them?
Right. Like, he is so good. His time will come. And I hope it's this one. I hope it's this tournament.
Well, I don't think he's ever been in this position at the Masters before.
No, but
where he's hot on the weekend.
Right.
And he's going to be in one of the last 2 groups, probably.
But hopefully he can take something else that, from another tournament and use it there.
Someone to keep your eye on right now, Bubba Watson. He just birdied number 12, the par 3, the short par 3, the skinny green. He is now entering the stretch where you can make a run, 13, 14, 15. He's another guy that he could easily play those 3 holes 2 or 3 under par, and we could see him fly up this leaderboard as well and be up there with Tommy Fleetwood.
So many majors right here won by all these guys.
Yeah.
And then the guys that haven't won are guys you anticipate winning, essentially, at some point.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun, no matter who's in the lead now, because they're all great.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them. We could have like
an
8-person tie, an 8-person playoff.
What if there is like a 6 or 7 person playoff?
That'd be awesome.
Would they just play another round? Like,
I don't know what they do.
What are the rules? Because they can't all play the same hole at once.
They just take turns, man.
Because, I mean, like, generally, like, when you're playing a playoff hole, you both go and you both play the same hole at the same time.
If it was like a 6-person tiebreaker, I guess you'd just have like 2 groups of 3, and you just random draw, and then 3 go and play like a par 4 or something, or the last hole. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
And then whenever they get onto the green, the next group goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like your normal round.
Yeah.
That'd be so awesome if it was like more than 3 guys.
Jason Day, 3 under for the round.
Yeah, his first round 75 is just killing him.
Yeah, but he's been playing well since then. He's 4 under since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff going on in the Masters, man.
By the way, speaking of 75s, Rahm shot...
John Ram?
Yeah, he shot 75 his first round.
So he shot 69. No, I'm sorry. He shot 70. No.
68.
He shot 68. Okay, so yeah, he was 3 over, and then he was 1 under.
So he's
been the hottest golfer since.
He's made up that 75.
Since going 3 over on the first day, he's 9 under.
Yeah.
In the next 30 holes.
Yeah.
He is hot.
He's in 5th, so I mean,
yeah.
He made up for that bad day. Man, just imagine if he just didn't have
bad
of a day.
You're thinking that like Reed, his first day, he shot 69, so he was 3 under.
Right.
Rahm's been scoring better than Reed for the past 2 days. And Reed was the big mover yesterday to get to 9 under.
But that's why it's, oh my God, Tommy Fleetwood.
What? Did he just birdie 16?
Yes. He has 5 straight birdies.
Oh my. Tommy Fleetwood, 7 under.
This is incredible.
Well, isn't the best score ever recorded at the Masters? Isn't it a 64? Or like a 63?
Oh, I don't know. But he's probably flirting with it.
Yeah, well, he's 7 under, so he's on pace for a 65 right now.
He's 57 on the day with 2 par 4s coming up.
Yeah.
So if he went birdie, 63.
Dude.
He's having a historic day right now. He has 7 birdies on the day, no bogeys.
Yeah.
No bogeys.
Yeah. It's a good scorecard, man.
And he even left one on a par 5. The eagle that McIlroy had, he parred.
Yeah.
So, but at the other 3 par 5s, birdies.
Yep. And that's one of the things that Tiger was saying disappointed him about his week, is that he wasn't scoring well on the par 5s. Because if you can just... These par 5s are reachable.
Yep.
In 2.
But you got to be able to get in the fairway.
You got to position yourself off the tee to take a shot at it. I remember seeing so many golfers yesterday playing like a wild hook around, I think, is that the 15th green? Like if you put yourself on the left side of the fairway, you're behind the trees, and you have to hook it around the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just putting yourself in position off the tee, man, it makes a huge difference at this tournament. I mean, it's a major. It's the Masters. It's the most pristine golf course in the world.
Yep.
And it is
It's the Super
acutely
Bowl
designed. It is.
of golf. And yet it's the first major of the year.
It's the first major of the year.
Setting up the rest of the year.
Yep. I keep looking at this. I keep expecting McIlroy, to post like a 2 on a hole.
I keep waiting for Fleetwood to be in the lead by the end of the day.
Dude, you're not kidding, man. That's crazy. That's insane.
He's now moved up 15 spots in one day.
Yep.
So far.
He is now tied for 3rd.
That's crazy.
Currently, the clubhouse leader is at 1 under.
The clubhouse leader.
The clubhouse leader is at 1 under.
Yeah, it's Jason Day.
Jason Day is the clubhouse leader for the moment at 1 under. The next person, the only other person under par, outside of Hadwin, who's currently 1 under as well, ready to finish their round is Fleetwood.
Yeah, he's closest to finishing.
Because he says 2 holes to go. Unreal, man.
Come on, Tommy.
Tommy.
My joke of a dark horse on day 1 is actually...
He's coming alive.
It's kind of coming true. Weirdly enough. I was like, you know what? Tommy Fleetwood's going to win. Maybe.
He's winning Saturday, that's for sure.
He's won Saturday. If he just goes par, he's won the day.
You think 7 under would be the best score of the day?
Probably.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And from where he came, further back than anybody else, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll keep track on this. This is nuts.
This is nuts. Yeah, so we'll check back in on this later.
Yeah.
So what else is going on today in news? What do we want to get to?
Well, the biggest news of the week is Mr. Injury for the Celtics.
Kyrie Irving.
Mr. Injury again. I swear.
It's awkward. He's smiling in this photo, but I'm sure that he's not happy.
No, but it's always his knee, man.
From BleacherReport.com, Kyrie Irving out for the season. NBA playoffs, will undergo knee surgery. And they actually mentioned in this article, he originally fractured his kneecap during the finals against the Warriors in 2015.
Yeah.
And he began experiencing increasing discomfort in the knee in early March this year. It got progressively worse to the point he needed surgery. A follow-up procedure was always expected at some point, but Irving and the team were both hoping it would come in the off-season. Additional surgery may be needed in the future. But yeah, they will now enter the season without their 2 best players, Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're taking out the screws, I guess, of his knee.
Well, isn't this the procedure that he threatened Cleveland with?
I don't know.
Like, to help force the trade? Because I remember there was a story that came out because he demanded the trade. And then there was a story that came out that he was like holding a knee surgery over the Cavs, saying that he would do it during the season.
But if he just started experiencing pain,
increasing discomfort.
No.
Like, I think this procedure was always expected at some point. They were just hoping that it was going to be in the off season.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's what it said right up here. It said a follow-up procedure was always expected. We're hoping it would come in the off season.
Okay. Because, yeah, he had the screws put in when he got the knee fixed the first time. But now it's time for them to come out.
I'm telling you, man, the fact that Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving are both out means that the Celtics are going to flame out early in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Do they get through the first round?
Probably.
Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, what if they face like the Bucks in the first round?
Well, they're going to be the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Who's the 7?
Well, it could be a team like the Bucks. Let me go to ESPN.com. And let's go to NBA standings.
I think the 1 and 2 are pretty much done. And I know it's pretty fluid at the bottom.
Currently, the Bucks are the 7 seed.
Ooh.
Bucks, Wizards, Heat. Let's just say it's the Bucks.
Oh, wow. So now the Wizards have fallen all the way to 8th?
Let's just say it's the Bucks, okay? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jabari Parker, Malcolm Brogdon, Eric Bledsoe, Chris Middleton versus Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Al Horford. I'm taking the Bucks lineup in that.
The Bucks are. It's going to be one of those three. The Heat, Bucks, Wizards. They're only separated by a game.
Yeah.
At most, between 6 and 8. I don't want to play the Bucks out of all three of those the most. Like that's the team I want to avoid. The Heat, I want to play the most.
You'd want the Heat?
Yeah, because there's some situation with Whiteside and how he's not playing or not playing well. I don't even know. Doesn't matter.
A week ago, they might have expected to face the 76ers.
Yeah.
But now they're on a 13-game winning streak.
Yeah, they control the 3 seed as of right now. And there's they only have 3 games left. The Cavs have 2 games left.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm the Celtics, I don't want to play the Bucks. You're just hoping that somehow it finagles its way where they're the 6 or the 8.
But do you want to play the Wizards? Because didn't they go to 7 games in the semis last year?
Yeah.
In the conference semis?
I mean, like I said, I'd rather play the Heat out of all of them. But I'd rather play the Wizards than the Bucks. Because the Wiz just seem to flame out.
The Heat are up, though. They're up half a game. They're up a game in the win column on the Bucks with 2 games to play. And I mean, they're up a full game on the Wizards.
You never know how it's going to go. But, I mean, they could completely flip-flop. They could all rotate. Nobody could move.
Yeah.
It's so tight right now.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. Oops.
You checking who they're going to play?
Yeah, I wonder if any of them play each other. Well, now it's being slow. But, I mean, the Wizards just always flame out at the wrong time. Always. Oh, the Celtics play the Wizards.
One of these last couple games?
Yes. So, if I'm the Celtics, I might call the Suns or the Mavs and be like, "Hey, how do you guys tank?"
Oh,
can
I'll tell you how to tank. This is how the Mavericks tank. They're like, hey, this is our starting lineup, okay? But we're gonna rotate one of our 4 best players to rest every single game, okay? So like it'll be Wesley Matthews one game, it'll be Harrison Barnes another game, it'll be Dirk another game. By the way, Dirk's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
with an ankle problem. So is his career over? That's a different question. You think he's coming back next year?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, if you're Boston, you want to lose this game.
Yeah. Well, so you're sitting there and you're like, okay, what can we do to lose this game? No. And so you're like, oh, hey, Al Horford, you get to rest today. You're not going to, we're resting you for the playoffs. And then what you do is if the game is still close, you start playing your lesser players in the fourth quarter.
Also, you really want to lose because the Wizards, if you essentially let them win, they'll win the last 2. They play at Orlando.
Yeah.
And they could catch the Bucks or the Heat maybe. So let's go to the Bucks schedule. That's interesting that the Celtics kind of control what can happen a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to play the Bucks. Giannis is a monster.
I think the Bucks are the best team of those 5 through 8 seeds.
And I think they're the most confident in that they can win that series.
But, okay, so when the Cavs moved on from David Blatt and went to Ty Lue, they got a boost. Whereas I think the Bucks, when they fired Jason Kidd, I think that was a bad move.
Yeah. Well, I know Giannis wasn't a fan of it. Like, he tried to...
He offered Kidd. He called Jason Kidd and said, hey, I will fight for your job.
Right.
And Jason Kidd's like, nah, man, I don't want to put you in that situation. Don't do it.
Right. And then it would just be really awkward between management and the coach.
Yeah.
Especially when they ended up firing him anyway at some point. But the Bucks play the Knicks, Magic, and 76ers.
Knicks, Magic, 76ers. So the last game is 76ers?
Yes, which Philly may or may not really want to play in. We don't know. But it's looking good for the Bucks to win a couple games. So maybe that's good for the Celtics and that maybe they can catch the Heat.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Heat have 2 games left. One against the Thunder. It's really good for the Celtics. And then the other one against Toronto. This actually might shape up pretty well for the Celtics. It might end up going Bucks, Wizards, Heat.
So then who would the Celtics face in the first round?
The Wizards. It might go Bucks, Wizards, Heat, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Because two teams have a pretty favorable schedule, assuming that the Celtics are aware of what's going on. And then one team, the team ahead, has two very losable games.
Okay, so Celtics forward Marcus Morris is dreading the possibility of facing his twin brother Markieff in the first round of the playoffs. It's like, man, every day we talk about it. Honestly, I don't want to play them first.
Is that Wizards?
That's, Wizards, Celtics.
Yeah.
Marcus is on the Celtics, and Markieff is on the Wizards.
If I had to guess, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Man.
Just looking at
because
schedules.
that was a pretty epic conference semifinals matchup last year. And now you could be talking, that's a first-round matchup.
Yeah.
But I think that has to do a lot more with, can we call it dysfunction in Washington? Like, what's going on in Washington? Why?
Some teams don't have it.
Yes.
And they are missing it. And I don't mean John Wall. They're missing something. Just like a mental factor. They've gone through coaches. They have players. Like, it's just something. I mean, they don't have, like, the elite of the elite player. But they have all-star
But they have
players.
a few of those next-tier guys.
It's just... And they struggle to even win a series.
Yeah.
You know, like they'll win a series in 7 or something that they could
Yeah.
have won in 5. And they just, and you know they're going to lose the second round. Like, I don't think they'll win the first round this year. So.
Well, didn't they blew a 16-point lead to Cleveland the other night?
Yeah.
In the last 6 minutes of the game.
They're so complacent. Like, earlier this year, Beal was like, we don't know how to beat the bad teams. Because they would show up probably thinking that, oh, hey, we're going to win.
Yeah.
You know, against Orlando and New York or whoever.
Yeah.
And then they show up to the good teams and play really well.
They play to their competition.
Oh, yeah, they do. Absolutely. Nobody does it better than them. And they were clearly like in the 4 or 5 range.
All year.
And now all of a sudden that's impossible.
Yeah.
And they've already made the playoffs, so they can't fall out. But they've fallen all the way to the last playoff spot.
Yeah. There is still a really interesting playoff race in the Western Conference. Only the top 3 seeds have clinched. That being the Rockets and the Warriors and the Trailblazers.
Yeah, there's a
past that
2-game stretch.
Yeah, some teams have 3 games to go, some teams have 2 games to go.
But 4 through 9.
4 through 9 is open, man.
2 games separating 4 through 9.
It's unreal.
And then 1 game in the loss column, 5 through 9. So the Clippers are pretty much out.
I will say, man, the Timberwolves are not a team that I expected to see down here.
And that's another team that was hovering around 3 or 4. And then obviously it's so tight, but they've been...
But the Jimmy Butler injury has been devastating to that team.
They won last night, though. Beat the Lakers.
Yeah, well, they needed it.
So they're holding on to that last spot right now. They're tied in the loss column with the Nuggets. And the Nuggets play the Clippers, I believe, tonight.
So one of those teams is going to be eliminated.
Pretty much. I mean, the Clippers are pretty much eliminated just because there's so few games left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a must-win for the Nuggets. So we'll see if they can get it and get tied with the Timberwolves for the last playoff spot. But the Thunder, Spurs, Pelicans, they're not completely out of it yet. They could fall out. I think the Jazz really just need a win or a loss by the Nuggets, and they're good. So, what a run by the Jazz. They were so bad in the first month.
Similarly to the Jazz in the Eastern Conference, the Charlotte Hornets really turned it on, but it was way too little too late.
Right.
But the Hornets started off so bad. I think they were 3-15. And then since then, they've been good enough to make the playoffs.
Just not enough games left.
But just not enough games left. I mean, and the Pistons making that push. They're 8-2 in their last 10, but it's just too little, too late.
Yep. Blake Griffin got hurt again. Shocker.
Yeah, is anyone surprised?
But this paves the way for LeBron again. God, can that guy get any luckier?
Yeah, he could.
Oh, he could have gone 8-0 in finals?
Yeah.
Okay.
He could have gotten, he got pretty unlucky that Jason Terry was so good in that 2011 finals.
He also got lucky, though, in the sense that Ray Allen made a crazy clutch shot in the corner.
True.
So, but I mean, that guy, like, it's just like the sea just parts for him. And the Kyrie injury. And
well, that's part of a bigger conspiracy that I've been on for a while now, is that the Celtics, because they're going to flame out early in the playoffs, they're going to feel the pressure to do something big this offseason. And LeBron's leaving Cleveland. It's a perfect marriage, man.
He's going to go to Boston.
He's going to Boston. And for the first time in his career, he's going to have an elite head coach. For the first time in his career, he's not going to have to be the best player in the world in order for his team to do anything in the playoffs. Because they're still going to be in the Eastern Conference, but he's going to have another year of seasoning of Jason Tatum, another year of seasoning on Jaylen Brown, and he's going to have Kyrie Irving.
My God. If he goes to Boston, they might as well just be in the finals for the next 3 years at least.
So how much more realistic does the Kawhi Leonard situation seem now than it did 2 months ago when I was first spouting this conspiracy?
Kawhi to what?
Kawhi to Boston.
Well, they're not all going to go to Boston.
Why not?
Well, if they do...
It's a sign... Hang on. LeBron's a free agent. It'll be a sign and trade with Gordon Hayward.
But then that sends Brown and Tatum...
To San Antonio.
Or Cleveland.
Or it sends one of the two. Like, the one... Like, probably Jason Tatum has more trade value, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And so it would be Jason Tatum and a first-round pick for Kawhi Leonard. Although if we're talking about like what it costs to get Paul George, then they'll send Marcus Smart and Aaron Baines to San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard.
Well, at least Oladipo's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Pacers are in the 5 spot.
Yeah.
They're having a better year than the Thunder, essentially. Well, not by wins, but...
Because they're in the East.
But, I mean, still, 47-33. Yeah, they have more wins. 2 more. I was looking at the Heat. But yeah, 47. They actually have more wins.
The tail of the tape there is look at the conference record of the two teams. 31-19 in the Eastern Conference for the Pacers. Basically 500 in the Western Conference for the Thunder.
You play on the schedule.
You do. And they play in the East.
You go, Oladipo.
Which is why LeBron's not going to the West.
Oh, no, there's no way.
The only two teams.
But you know where he is going.
The only two teams that make any sense to me are Boston, and that's the much better of the two options, and Philadelphia. Those are the options.
Or Cleveland.
He's not staying in Cleveland.
He'll stay.
Why would he stay? Kevin Love.
Because they're going to go back to the finals.
Kevin Love can't stay healthy.
They're going to go back to the finals this year because nobody can stop him.
Exactly. And if he goes to Boston...
It might be Philly versus Cleveland in the...
But, okay, so say he stays in Cleveland and they make it to the finals. Are they winning?
Oh, no. The NBA Finals is going to be Houston and Golden State. It's just going to be called the Western Conference Finals. They're just renaming it this year.
But that's my point. LeBron James wants to compete for championships, not Eastern Conference championships. He wants to compete for NBA championships. He can't do that in Cleveland.
He technically does because he makes the finals every year.
He can't do that. He cannot do that in Cleveland.
Unless he pulls
LeBron
off a
James
miracle.
will go to another Eastern Conference contender.
Well, anybody he goes to will be a contender.
Yes.
He could go to Atlanta, who finished last. And
they'll be a 3 seed.
Yeah, they'll just replace
Cleveland.
Oh, that's so sad. But yeah, so LeBron's parting of the sea is happening.
I think he's going to Boston, and here's why. Because Kyrie Irving is the point guard that he has beaten this Warriors dynasty with. And Kyrie and LeBron love each other. So, this story...
Well, that's what we think.
That's what we...
Or they make us think that they hate each other.
That's what we knew up until Kyrie comes out of left field with the, I don't want to play with LeBron anymore. And LeBron and Kyrie were in on that together. I am convinced of this. Because they're sitting there, and LeBron's talking to Kyrie. He's like, look, dude, I'm leaving after this year. And Kyrie's like, well, where the heck does that leave me? And LeBron's like, you got to demand a trade out of here because otherwise you're going to be stuck on a sinking ship for the next 3-4 seasons because that's the contract that he signed before,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they were in on it together, that LeBron James and Kyrie Irving were in on it together, his departure from Cleveland, because neither one of them wanted to be the last guy on a sinking ship. And so I think LeBron's going to join forces with him again in Boston. He might be the Pippen to Michael's Jordan.
That would be so weird.
Kyrie to LeBron. Except this time, they're going to have a young, athletic, explosive supporting cast in Boston.
What if they traded Kyrie for LeBron?
So Kyrie goes back. Well, it wouldn't be a trade because LeBron's a free agent.
Well, a sign and trade.
But the sign and trade is with Kyrie?
Yeah.
That would be funny.
That'd be so
Who would
weird.
run point?
LeBron. LeBron runs point wherever he goes. That guy would run point on a Steve Nash team.
Could you imagine LeBron's stats with D'Antoni?
Oh, he would have Harden stats, basically, just not as good of a shooter. And not flopping into people's arms all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was be interesting. We'll see what happens. Playoffs start probably in like a week or so. By the way, Patrick Reed has birdied 3 in a row.
Patrick Reed? Oh yeah, we gotta check on the leaderboard again.
He birdied
Dude.
he birdied that par 5 and then went 2 more
went
after that.
birdie on 9 and 10. It's because he saw what McIlroy did on the front 9 and Reed's like, it's my turn.
Yep. And he birdied 8, 9, and 10. So he got 3 under through those 3.
Fleetwood is 7 under today and he's 5 off the pace.
Yeah, poor Tommy.
Unreal.
It's okay. He'll just do it again tomorrow. It's
you know what that
whatever.
means though? That puts Reed on pace for a 69, which keeps him in the running for the only player to ever play the Masters 4 rounds in the 60s.
And what if he doesn't win doing that?
Like if Fleetwood goes 7 under again tomorrow?
Yeah. Or Rory storms back on the back 9 and kind of keeps pace and edges him out like in a playoff hole or something.
Like in my head, I'm just thinking Rory McIlroy is capable of doing what Tommy Fleetwood just did.
Oh, all these guys
12
are.
through 16.
All these guys are. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Man, that's crazy.
Go, Tommy. Keep it up. Keep the dream alive.
For anybody who may be watching and listening, our friend Ryan Alford just opened a bar, Frisco, Texas, in the Frisco Square, just across from Toyota Stadium. It's called First Round Draft Bar and Grill. Awesome place, awesome food, good atmosphere. The owner's okay. he's a good dude.
I have to go back there tomorrow night.
Yeah, maybe.
If it's warm enough.
Dude, you're not kidding. It's
Bring
cold.
pumpkin.
Yeah, dog-friendly patio.
Yeah. She's mad at me though.
And I hear that you want to check out the frozen Jack and Coke. I hear that's what you want to get.
Frozen Jack and Coke.
Bubba Watson, by the way, now at 5 under, just birdied 14.
Uh-oh. He's the highest lefty, I think.
Yeah.
Bubba. Just
Bubba.
this tournament brings him out for some reason. I don't even know.
Yeah.
All right, so a week ago today was the Final Four.
A week ago today was the Final Four.
And we had Villanova versus Kansas, Michigan versus the Fighting Loyolas. One game was good, one game was not. Let's just put it that way. The first game was Villanova. Michigan Loyola.
Yeah, and Loyola had a 7-point halftime lead.
Yeah, they sucked in the beginning, couldn't make a shot.
Well, didn't they go a stretch? It was like 7 minutes and 42 seconds where they didn't score.
Right. And so like they sucked, but Michigan couldn't buy a bucket either.
Yeah.
So then Loyola just kind of found a few buckets late in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, is this team really going to play for a national championship? Like, this is crazy. They're going to play a 1 seed for the national championship. But there's 2 halves in a basketball game.
There are. And
Michigan just finally made a couple threes. Finally. And just kind of ran away with it in the last, 4 minutes? Because Loyola still had somewhat of a lead, and then like with 7 or 8 minutes left, the lead was gone, and then it just, got to like 3 or 4 Michigan, and then Michigan ended up winning by 12 with late free throws and stuff. But it was a pretty tight game. But once again, the low seeds on the Final Four just can't get a win. It's like 0-7 now, or whatever it is. 0 wins.
Well, the lowest seed to ever win a championship is an 8, right?
Right. And then seeds like lower than that to make the Final Four have never made the championship.
Really?
So they've never won that game, and Loyola was just right there for it. But the Fighting Sister Jeans come up a little bit short. But you know, it's not every year an 11 seed makes the Final Four, so it was pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good for them. Hopefully they have returning players.
Do you remember Florida Gulf Coast?
Oh yeah.
What year was that?
Dunk City. I want to say it was 2013.
13. That's the year that was in my head. But like,
which was also the same year Michigan went to the championship.
Something to keep your eye on. There's a bracket buster Cinderella. Michigan is going deep.
Yeah. Also, Michigan didn't play a team higher than a 5 seed
until Villanova.
Yes.
I think they're the first team ever to make it to the championship game.
Yep.
Without playing a team ranked in the top 4.
Right. That's crazy. That's how wild their regions were.
That half of the bracket. Yeah, that half of the bracket was just exploded. Whereas the other half of the bracket, the final, the Elite 8 teams were a 1, a 2, a 1, and a 3.
Right.
So it's
reasonable.
It was much more expected out of the right side of the bracket.
Yeah, and that's where Kansas and Villanova met.
Yep.
And only one team showed up.
Yep.
Especially in the first half, man. Villanova was so good from 3.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They were pretty good from 3. That Dante DiVincenzo guy.
Dude.
Showing up off the bench in the championship game.
Oh, yeah. That guy, I mean, he won most outstanding player. But
yeah, I mean, he might have played his way onto people's draft boards in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And their whole team, like, you would look at other games and be like, oh, okay, so what did DiVincenzo do in some other games? Then other guys stepped up. They had so many scoring options.
Yeah.
That Jalen Brunson, who's probably their best player, scored 9 points in the championship game.
And they won by 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the player of the year.
This just in, Tommy Fleetwood bogeyed 18 to finish the round 6 under. He is 6 under. He shot a 66 on Saturday at the Masters.
It's over.
To put himself, he's still tied for 4th.
It's all falling apart.
I will say, though, Bubba Watson, currently at 5 under, probably finishes at or better than Fleetwood. So Fleetwood's probably looking at maybe being in like the 3rd or 4th final pairing tomorrow.
It just fell apart for him. It all fell apart so fast.
I mean, he did play 7 under.
He went,
and then he bogeyed 18. Well,
he went birdie. He went par bogey.
If you saw how the end of the first round was on Thursday, everybody that got to hole 18, 4 under, they all bogeyed. They all finished 3 under. It was so weird. It was just random. But Tommy Fleetwood is the clubhouse leader, currently sitting at 6 under. He is 5 strokes up on anybody else who is done playing for the day. That's really cool, man. That's a good place to be. Looks like Spieth is just now getting to that 13, 14, 15, the scoring opportunities. He's currently playing number 13. A lot of these guys who are looking to make a charge to position themselves for tomorrow, they're just now getting to that point.
Yeah, the last groups of the day.
Yeah, it's like Matt Kuchar, for example, started the day 1 under, went into hole 12 2 over. So he struggled on the front 9, and since then he went birdie, 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 birdie on holes 12, 13, 14, and 15 to get back to 2 under. And so it's like you can make those types of moves right now, and that's where all of these guys who are trying to position themselves for tomorrow, they are all going into that corner. So we're definitely going to have to check back in on this here in a second.
It's going to come down to who doesn't take advantage.
Yeah.
Instead of who does.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, wasn't it? the last couple weeks I've been saying Villanova was going to win because I didn't want them to win.
Yeah, well, you were saying they were going to win because you didn't want them to win, and I was saying that they were going to win because they picked up right where the San Francisco Giants left off. The Giants started the decade in 10, 12, and 14, winning the ship, and then they fell off in 16. Villanova stepped in. So that means that Villanova is not going to win next year, but that they're going to win again in 2020. It's guaranteed.
Well, I'm definitely picking against them next year. And the year after that. And the year after that.
I will say, though, 2020 is a different decade, so...
Oh.
Yeah, what do we do with that? I don't know. I don't know what to do with that
I
information.
don't think Villanova knows what to do with that, so they'll probably lose as a 1 seed.
MLB, man.
First week's in the books.
First week plus is in the books.
Yeah,
Most teams started, was it the Thursday before?
Yeah, about 9 days ago.
Yeah. And I have the handy-dandy standings pulled up for you guys right here.
Updated, too, because there are some finals today.
Yeah. Boston is the quietest 7-1 record I've ever seen.
Dude, their starting pitching has been so good.
Yeah.
And when that's good, you're good.
Yep.
And when that's good, you're in every game.
Yep. Toronto at 5-3. That's surprising to me, but then again, they did just play Texas.
And they continued to play Texas.
Yep. The Yankees will be fine. Baltimore, this is a team that I think definitely could have benefited from a hot start. They started 1-5.
They started 1-0.
And then they lost their next 5 games.
They hit the walk-off on the
Yeah,
opening
that's
day.
right, Adam Jones. Tampa Bay, though, they're out of it.
At least, though, Baltimore had a winning record at one point in the year.
They did. They were 1-0.
Good job, them.
So did Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was also 1-0. They beat Boston on opening day, I think.
That was first game?
I think. And then they've lost their 7 in a row.
Chris Sale started that game, and then the bullpen blew it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota, we both expected to be pretty good.
Yeah, I had them second in this division.
Yeah, behind Cleveland, who always starts slow.
Oh, yeah, that's just what they do.
Well, I mean, the best hitter in Cleveland's lineup all season is going to be Edwin Encarnacion from June on.
Oh, yeah, that guy gets hot,
That
man.
guy, I don't know what it is.
Weather warms up, he warms up.
They need to pay him to start playing baseball in mid-December so that when the start of the season rolls along, he's just in mid-season form.
Prorate his contract to the summer months.
Something else that we had mentioned is that Oakland and Texas were going to fight for the bottom seed in the West, currently tied at 3-6.
Oh, yeah. I think I overrated the Rangers.
Oh, yeah, you did. I said that their over-under was 60. What did I say, 68? Somewhere between 68 and 73. They're bad.
They're so bad.
They're bad.
I mean, they're going to lead the American League probably in strikeouts.
In offensive strikeouts.
And they're going to be bottom 5 in probably pitching strikeouts.
And fielding percentage.
And their fielding's awful.
Yeah.
Their on base is awful. Their average is, they're just awful.
Yeah.
Everything is awful. Now they'll be like mid-pack in like home runs. But other than that.
I was kind of ranting last night, I think. I was watching the game. Drew Robinson, the guy who's currently the starting center fielder because Delano DeShields broke his hand, wouldn't make any other roster in the big leagues. Ryan Rua, the left field, wouldn't be on any other roster in the big leagues.
There's always
Rougned Odor, after the season he had last year, wouldn't be on a roster in the big leagues.
Oh, he would because he hit 30 home runs.
He hit 205.
So did Dan Ugla, and he still pounded away on
Dan Ugla. He is the new Dan Ugla.
He is. He's also like the same height.
So I will say, jumping over to the National League, some surprising records at the start of the year. A couple of these divisions look upside down, like Pittsburgh being in the lead in the Central. I will say, Colin Moran, he's one of their big prospects. I think he's first base.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hot start. If they get professional level production out of a lot of these prospects, then you could absolutely be looking at a team right in the hunt.
Who's the outfielder for Pittsburgh? The
Starling Marte?
No,
Gregory Polanco.
Polanco. He's hit some bombs to center.
Yeah, well, he hit a go-ahead home run. It was the first game of the season. There was a replay overturned a call. The Tigers thought they had a walk-off win, and then a couple innings later, in the 13th, Polanco hit a massive, like 430-foot, 3-run go-ahead homer to win on opening.
Did you see their game in the snow the other day?
No.
Them in Minnesota. It was in Pittsburgh, and it wasn't snowing the whole game. It was kind of snowing like before, and then like the 6th inning came, and oh my god, it was just like a side snow, just sideways.
Wow.
And the game finished like that, and Rodney comes out to finish the game with no sleeves. And it's just
bold.
It's just howling snow, and guys are like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah, the Mets, and I think I was telling you on them. I thought they were going to be good this year because the big knock on them is that they haven't had the health of the starting pitching, and if they have that, then they're a team that could be one of those outsiders looking in on a wild card spot.
And some of their most important hitters haven't, like David Wright.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're off to a hot start.
Atlanta's off to a good start. That's good for you.
They're leading the league in runs scored.
It's a good place to be.
And by league, I mean everybody.
Now, on to some of the things that make sense in the National League.
Marlins.
Miami, Cincinnati, and San Diego being in last place.
Yes.
All three of those make sense.
And that will stay that way.
Yeah.
By the way, the Nationals started out 4-0.
And they've lost 3 straight.
4 straight.
They lose again today?
Yeah. They lost to the Mets, I believe. Yeah, 3-2.
Wow. Because it says, well, this was a while ago. Refresh this page here. Yep, they lost earlier. They just lost to the Mets 3-2. You're right. But yeah, man.
Go Braves.
The
Fighting Braves.
The Fighting Braves.
The Dodgers, though, are off to a cold start.
Well, they haven't hit.
Yep.
A couple of their big guys that they're counting on.
They're 2-5 and have a plus run differential.
Yeah. The 2 games that they have hit, they've won.
Yeah.
I mean, their first 2 games of the year, they lost 1-0.
Yep.
To San Francisco Giants. By the way, early case MVP, early season MVP case to be made for Joe Panic. Because both of those games,
offense.
Both of those wins, they have 3 wins on the year. In 2 of those wins, he hit solo home runs. That was the only run that was scored in the entire game.
I think he hit another home run too, but I don't remember if it was the other game they won.
It was.
So
because
if he hits a home run, they win.
Yeah. Well, I remember because I just said something after he hit that home run. I was like, Joe Panic is the offense. They have not scored. I was like, they have scored 3 runs this year, and Joe Panic has 3 home runs. Yeah. And then, like, right after that, Evan Longoria hits a home run to the left.
And he's been very bad to start.
Yeah, well, him and McCutchen. Yeah. I think they were combined, like, 1 for 20 to start the season.
Yeah. I know Longoria didn't have a hit for a while. I think the home run might have been his first hit.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But, yeah, they're off. Well, they have more wins than Dodgers, but the Dodgers are off to a slow start. That'll change. Because the pitching's there. They have 19 runs against in 7 games. They're the only team under 20.
Yeah.
And then the the Mets have 17.
I'm pretty sure the Rangers had 19 runs against in the first 2 games.
I think they have 19 runs against per game. Oh, the Twins also have 15 against, and the Red Sox 19. But, yeah, in the National League, the Mets and the Dodgers, one team has 1 loss, the other team has 2 wins.
I saw a Twitter. It was a Twitter poll type thing, and it had to do with it was a question. It was like a trivia question, and it was about Charlie Blackmon. I think it was from Jason Stark, and he always posts like these interesting baseball nuggets trivia knowledge, and he said that Charlie Blackmon in the last 2 seasons has 66 home runs and some other stat. And I forget what the other stat is, but there's only 2 active players not named Charlie Blackmon that have done that over a course of 2 seasons. Are you looking this up?
Yeah. Well, when did you
Jason
see
Stark. I saw this, I believe it was yesterday. So go to Jason Stark's Twitter and find this. I'm sure you'll find the answer.
Okay, here we go. A 2-year stretch with 400 hits.
400 hits and 66 bombs.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay, yeah. And then
only 2 other players in the major leagues have done that ever in their career. Currently.
Oh, ever?
Yeah, like any time in their career, only 2 other players active have done that. Who are they? My guess was Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. That was my guess. Was those two guys?
That's a good guess. The first name that came to mind was Bonds, but there's no way he had 200
But he's
hits.
not active. He's not. These are active players.
Oh, active.
2 active players.
Okay. Yeah, those are good guesses. Shoot. Man.
Find here. I'm gonna go to his Twitter and I'm gonna see if I can find the answer.
It's probably the tweet after this, so I didn't want to scroll up.
Okay. Well, I'll find it.
Man. Oh, man. If I had to guess. Man, because 200 hits, it's hard to get.
Yes,
like
it is.
the home runs, a lot of people can hit 33 each year. Oh, man. I'm scrolling through some teams. Okay, I think I got one in mind. I don't think he hit 66, but I'll keep him in mind. Okay, I got 2. I don't know how close they are to being right.
Yeah.
I'll go with Robinson Cano and Mike Trout.
Okay, so I will say the guys who came close in the trivia competition, this is a tweet by him. Robbie Cano missed the home runs. Adrian Gonzalez also missed the home runs. Jose Altuve also missed the home runs.
Yeah, I knew he would have missed the home runs.
Adrian Beltre missed on the hits by 7. And Hanley Ramirez was a popular guess, but he missed on both. An interesting nugget here is that Matt Holliday did it in Colorado, but is no longer an active player. But I don't think he's retired. I just don't think he's on a team.
Yeah, he hasn't been signed.
The trivia answer is Miguel Cabrera did it in 2011 and 2012, and Albert Pujols did it in 03 and 04.
Okay.
The only other active hitters who have ever had 400-plus hits and 66-plus home runs in any 2-year span. I don't think Trout gets enough hits because I think he takes so many walks.
Yeah, and that was my mindset with Bonds, but then you said active. So, but yeah, and I also wanted to guess guys that you didn't guess, just in case.
How about this for a list? Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, Charlie Blackmon.
Matt Holliday.
Matt Holliday. Is it interesting that the 2 names that don't think they don't look like they fit did it in Colorado?
That's weird.
Is it? Some would say that might be significant information.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the park does have a bit of a stigma.
Yeah.
And he also just signed a 6-year extension.
Yeah, he did.
So good for him. But yeah, wow.
Charlie
2
Blackmon.
of those guys are really slow. And then you have Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah.
God.
I just it's one of those things you see when you're scrolling through, and that one just really caught my eye as being really interesting, you know?
Charlie Blackmon.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go check on this leaderboard here at the Masters. John Ram, birdie at 16 and 17, 8 under currently. John Ram is now 7 under on the day.
Wow.
And if he finishes with a par at the 18th, he will have posted the best score. Leishman still hasn't gotten back to even par for the day. Is that Justin Smith? Does that sound right?
Justin Thomas?
No, well, there's a Justin Thomas, but there's also a Smith. Who's the Smith? Why am I blanking?
Oh, Cameron Smith.
Cameron Smith?
That's what it says on here.
Cameron Smith, 4 under today. He made moves. He birdied 13. He birdied 15 and 16.
He looks really young.
He is 4 under on the day. He is currently at 5 under.
He's 24, but he looks like he's 12.
Does he really?
He's Australian.
Matt Kuchar with another birdie. He is 5 under since the 11th hole. He was 5 under from 12 to 17. He parred 16. The other 5 holes there are birdies for him. So he put himself right back into the thick of things, looking for a top 10 finish. Spieth also just started that 13 through 16 stretch with a birdie at 13.
Yep. He's back to even.
So he's back to even par for the day. But yeah, John Ram. And here's Rory McIlroy now playing the number 13, playing that par 5 with Henrik Stenson as well as Henrik Stenson and Rory McIlroy both on that hole. Stenson's 1 under on the day. And you've got to feel pressure. Like if you're Henrik Stenson or Mark Leishman, you've got to be feeling pressure because the guys that you're playing with are hot.
Yeah, and they're good.
And they're distancing themselves from you.
Just a little bit, but if you can just stay within range, you just never know.
Yeah.
Just never know on a Sunday.
That is true.
So, yeah, Patty Ice.
Patty Ice. Just posted his score. He bogeyed number 12.
Yep, I just saw that.
So he's back to 11 under.
Yep, you never know. You never know.
Man.
But he's going to go through the stretch of holes now. So.
Yep. We're about to learn a lot about tomorrow right now.
Dude, how about the Angels? They're 6-2.
Yeah. How about Shohei Ohtani? You want to talk about him for a second?
Shohei.
By the way, if I can pull up Twitter again, because Jason Stark just has like all sorts of interesting. He's a very interesting Twitter follow if you're a baseball fan. Because he tweeted out something, it looks like it was 7 hours ago. He says, players who haven't hit a ball as hard as Shohei Ohtani this season: Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, Nelson Cruz, Chris Davis with a K, and Miguel Sano.
How hard did he hit it?
Shohei Ohtani's home run went 449 feet with a 112.3 exit velo, according to StatCast.
Well, that's pretty hard.
Yeah, and he hit that just to the left of center.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard hit ball. Like,
you're talking about 450-foot bomb. That was off a Kluber, too, wasn't it?
That might have been the second hardest hit ball this year behind Stanton's.
One of his first home runs in Toronto?
No, it was...
the one the other day in the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, the day
he cleared
after
the bleachers and left.
Struck out every time.
Yeah.
That thing was hit like 450, 480. I don't even remember what it was. It was crushed.
Yep. Also, another interesting nugget. Dude, I love this dude's Twitter. Jason Stark says that Jacob Faria's place in box score history today took him 73 pitches to get 5 outs in Boston. He's the first to throw that many pitches and get that few outs since Mike Pelfrey needed 74 pitches to get 4 outs on July 19th, and that was almost 8 years ago.
Mike Pelfrey would have something like that. That doesn't shock me. Wow.
73 pitches for an inning and 2/3.
That's interesting.
Another Shohei Ohtani stat here from Jason Stark. He's the first American League player to start a season as a pitcher and then hit a home run in 3 straight games since Babe Ruth in 1930.
It's because nobody pitches.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's hot at the plate. And one of those was off a Kluber.
Yeah.
Of all people.
And one of them, I think it was Cody Allen. Wasn't it a late inning home run?
Oh, I don't know. I just remember seeing the one off a Kluber, like,
man.
And then the one last night, they were down though, but crushed it for a solo shot.
Yeah, man.
Okay, no, I don't know why I thought they were playing right now. Seattle's whooping up on Minnesota right now.
That's baseball for you.
10-3.
10-3?
Yep.
Yeah, it is a whooping.
So, got some small NFL news.
Okay.
Thomas Davis has been suspended 4 games.
PEDs,
next season.
right?
Yes. And he already said next year's his last year. So his last year just got cut by 25%.
Yep. So did his pay.
Yeah.
You think that'll have anything to do with whether or not he decides to go another year?
I don't know what he was thinking.
Well, I don't want to speculate too much here and say like this is what he was caught doing, but a lot of these guys use steroids to recover from workouts. So it's not necessarily to be stronger, just because you're just juicing up your muscles, but especially in a sport that physical, the recovery is really important, and especially the older you get, being able to get back to work on Tuesday after a Sunday night game is very important, you know? And so it's like, that's a sport that I would almost like to see the use of those types of recovery drugs, because the last thing I want, and we actually experienced this a little bit in baseball, I'll get to that in a second, but the last thing that I want is these guys to take the field before they're physically ready.
Right.
You know? And what I was mentioning in baseball is that the Phillies manager, Gabe Kapler, pulled his pitcher without anybody warming up. And so somebody had to come into the game.
Right.
And the umpires decided to let him have time to warm up. And the Braves manager got ejected for rightly arguing that the dude shouldn't have time to warm up.
Right, because it was a rule.
But the umpire felt that he had to protect the player.
Right.
And not throw him out there to the wolves where he could hurt himself. And it's like that type of thing, like I would like to see, not that there's a perfect world, because if you let a little bit of it happen, then everybody's going to be doing it in other areas, you know, but it's just like, I'd like to see, it's like there was a Major League Baseball player that was suspended for taking Sudafed in December. Because like Sudafed, like the dude had a stuffy nose, you know, and it's like, but that's on the banned list of substances. It shows up as a PED on your blood test, you know, and it's crazy.
He put a video up. He said that he took a substance that was like an estrogen blocker that triggered a positive test. So like, I don't know. And he talked about how he's been taking
estrogen blocker.
I don't know what that means, but he said that he's been taking the same stuff, and that there's times where like you take these stuff, you know, the same whatever for years. And then the NFL changes its list.
Yeah.
They might take something off and put it as a banned substance.
They put something on.
You have, like, these players have to be informed and knowledgeable about that list every year, because something might come on, something might come off, and then if you take it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
And you didn't do anything different.
No.
But they have to be aware of all that. And I think that gets some of these guys. Maybe that was the case here. I don't know.
Masters update. Ricky Fowler just birdied the par 5 15th to get to 8 under. Ricky Fowler is 6 under on the day.
Ricky, my boy.
It looks like it's shaping up to be interesting tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting. Especially if a lot of these guys hover like they are and nobody takes control of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy right now that can take real control is Patrick Reed. But yeah, that's sad for the Panthers. His last year, Thomas Davis gonna miss at least 4 games. So, got anything else?
I don't think I do. Other than Brandon Cooks was traded to the Rams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought that the Rams were going to use that first round pick to go after Gronk, but they went after somebody that I think they'd have a realistic chance of re-signing.
They probably asked for more than that, and so they figured, well, if we can't get Gronk, we'll get Cooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Just winning the offseason.
Because Brandon Cooks is in a contract year.
Just winning the offseason again.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of their additions. They've added Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, and Ndamukong Suh.
Yep.
And Brandon Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all 4 of those guys are Pro Bowl caliber players at their positions.
They're killing this offseason. It's unreal. They also added the Sam Shields, who didn't play last year.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
And then they traded the linebacker to
Ogletree.
To the Giants.
Other Masters update. Bubba Watson, who had bogeyed 11 to get to 3 over, is back at 6 under now with 2 holes to play.
Wow. Yeah, so he's got an interesting scorecard. He's got 7 birdies today.
Yeah.
And 3 bogeys. He bogeyed a par 5.
Yeah, he bogeyed 8. Probably ended up deep in trouble somewhere in the water, maybe.
Tomorrow's going to be interesting to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to try and watch as much as I can.
I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys at 6 under or better.
Yeah.
8 guys.
When you could have more than that.
Oh, yeah. Like Spieth could jump up there. Dustin Johnson.
Spieth and Dustin Johnson come to mind because they're in the middle of that run where you'd expect them to gain a stroke or two. Also, Matthew Smith, is it?
Cameron
Smith. It's Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Cameron Smith. Oh, no, Cameron Smith, literally, as I say that, just bogeyed 17 to get to 4 under. But Leishman and Stenson, they're entering the stretch where you can make some scores here. So, yeah, I'm probably going to go downstairs and turn that on right now.
Right.
Yeah, so are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, if you do live in the DFW area, go check out First Round Draft Bar and Grill, Frisco, Texas. It's in the Frisco Square right across from Toyota Stadium, downtown Frisco.
Yep.
There's the shout out. We know the owner. Good food, good atmosphere, good service. Owner's a solid guy. Dog friendly patio. But it is only 21 and older after 9 p.m. They're open until 2. Grill closes at 1. That's kind of the shout out.
All right. This
Cool.
is the Swat Podcast.
This has been the Swat Podcast.
April 7th edition.
Yes, sir. See you guys next week.